Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of The Dig. Today we're going to talk about jump serving. But before we get started in that, I want to mention that our sponsor is My Little Athlete, where you can find unique volleyball apparel and some of the best team gifts that are available. Go to mylittleathlete.biz to check out what we have to offer. But let's get started, because I know everyone loves to get started jump serving. Everyone likes to try it, and once you get rolling with it, it can be a really effective serve. If you are not ready for jump serving, that's not a big deal. The main qualification for jump serving is that you're able to serve a nice floater over and in consistently. So if you are not able to do that yet, go to mylittleathlete.biz/serving, mylittleathlete.biz/serving, and you will find a podcast episode on the standing floater. You will find a blog post written about the keys to a standing floater, and then there's also another 5-minute video where we break down the standing floater. So there's plenty of information available if you're not ready to start jump serving. But today in season 3, we're going to actually go through the jump floater. So if you can do a good solid float serve, that's step 1. You have to be able to do that. The other thing you have to be able to do before you get started is a standard 3 or 4 step approach, like when you're hitting the ball. You have to be able to do that because that's what you use in the jump serve. So we'll talk about it as though it's a 3-step approach. So for a right-handed hitter, left, right, left. For a left-handed hitter, it's right, left, right. If you do a 4-step approach, that's not a big deal. You just add a step before. So instead of doing left, right, left, you do right, left, right, left. So it's really not that much more difficult to change it up or go between the two of them. So like I said, those are the 2 qualifications. Now let's get started with the actual tips for the jump serve. Whenever I teach it, I start with the footwork, and I say that it's the exact same as your approach, except you're going to add a small toss in the middle of it. Instead of the setter setting you the ball and you going and getting it, you're going to toss yourself the ball in the middle of your approach, and this can really get people hung up. So you're going to take your first step, and then you're going to lift the ball into the air. And I don't even call it a toss, because you're really not going to lift it very far at all. It needs to go maybe a couple feet in the air, maybe 3 feet in the air, depending on how high you jump and how long your arms are and stuff. But you're not going to send it way up in the air because the timing won't work. So you only need to send it a few feet in the air at the most. So we'll talk about it like I would do it. So I would do left foot step, lift the ball, right, left, swing at the ball. I call it left, lift, right, left, swing. You obviously also need to jump. So left, lift the ball, toss the ball, right, left, jump, and swing. It's kind of hard to explain it without some kind of a visual here, but those are your steps, including the toss. Now, if you're having troubles with that, things that might be off is you might be tossing the ball too low or too high. That's really hard to learn right off the bat. It will take you a while before you get the hang of it. Your arms, let's talk about those. It's super important that your arms do not come down. You want to think about it as though like you're a ballroom dancer or something. Your elbows, both elbows need to stay up nice and high. You're not swinging your arms all over the place. You're just holding your frame the entire time. You're going to hold your frame. So toss the ball and just move your arms like 6 inches or whatever you need to move them, just so that they're getting up into a hitting position where your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, your left hand is in front, your right hand is drawn back, ready to swing. And then the contact is the exact same as the float serve. You're going to try and hit squarely behind the ball with the palm of your hand going, square into the ball. Other things to consider, definitely, again, don't be moving your arms all over the place. They're not going down below you or anything like an approach. That's the biggest difference between this and approach, is that when you toss, you immediately put your hands up in order to swing. You don't drop them down at all. So start with the ball out in front of you. I like it, right above your chin or so. I want you to be able to look out at your opposing team, make sure you can see everything in front of you, but keeping the ball high enough that you're not having to lift it nearly as much. So that's a really good place to start. And then you can start with a one-hand or a two-handed toss, whichever you're more comfortable with. It's more common to toss with one hand, although some people do toss with two hands. And for this serve, I haven't seen real clear evidence on why you would do one or the other. It's, like I said, more common to use one hand, but you'll see a lot of people use two hands too, even at higher levels. So, you know, kind of do both until you figure out which one you like better. Some coaches are really strong, have an opinion one way or the other. I find that with a two-handed toss, my toss is a little bit more consistent. And it was easier for me to learn with a two-handed toss. And I found across the board, people tend to learn a little bit better with the two-handed toss, but the one-handed toss, I feel, can give you a little bit more power behind the ball. You don't have to worry quite so much about drawing your arm back if you're doing a one-handed toss, because your hitting shoulder is already back and ready to go. There are less moving parts involved. Because if you're doing a one-handed toss, you can just leave your hitting arm up in the air, ready to hit, and it doesn't have to do anything other than swing at the ball. So I guess that's an advantage to the one-handed toss. So those are some of the keys to the jump serve. Jump serving is one of those things that's really hard to just talk about. Visuals are typically required, but I tried, and hopefully eventually I'll be able to get some more visuals for you to really go through it and slow it down and show you exactly where the ball needs to be and all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you want more information, you can always go to mylittleathlete.biz/thedig and see all of our other episodes and see what else we're up to. So thanks, and I'll see you next time.